Oh, never mind. I already started. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Corvids Coffee Podcast. My name is Liz, and with me today is Veronica. Say hi.
Hi.
And we're just fucking around over here, apparently. So today we'll be talking about the coffee shop we went to earlier, along with the movie Groundhog Day, since Groundhog Day came up not too long ago, and just theories on it, as well as changing your mindset, the whole lesson of, or the main lesson of Groundhog Day, and then the character development within it. Also, we'll be doing a bit of an analysis over about the time loop in it, and then some reflections on change and the shopping cart theory, and just that sort of stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so yeah, let me get the talking points up. So today we're going to discuss a few different things, and we just went to a really good coffee shop near me that we tried out. And we'll review the drinks. I got an iced latte, Veronica, and you got a
hot latte.
Yeah, because she's not actually from New England.
Shut up.
Shut up, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so we'll be talking about that Groundhog Day since it happened recently, and I didn't watch a Groundhog Day movie until the day after Groundhog Day because I'm
Did
late
we
to the
actually
party.
know what happened? Did the groundhog see his shadow? We should look.
Oh yeah, he always sees his shadow. We have 6 more weeks of winter. It's pretty true for this one too.
We live in New England.
And also, people are like, "Oh, I understand the groundhog." I'm just like, "No, you don't." You just say he just chitters, and you're like, "I'm gonna make some bullshit up, and it's gonna be 6 more weeks of winter," because you don't want to say, "Oh, it's gonna be an early spring," and then it comes around and just starts snowing. You're like, "Well, fuck, it's not gonna be an early spring."
Yeah, no, it rarely is ever an early spring here. Anyway, yeah. So you watched Groundhog Day. I haven't seen it in a very long time, but you told me about a theory you found on the internet that they figured out how long he was in that lapse of. So if you haven't seen Groundhog Day is when essentially Bill Murray's character is going to cover on a news station the groundhog, which they call
Puxatawny Phil.
Puxatawny
Because it's
Phil.
Puxatawny, Pennsylvania?
I think so.
I think that's their whole
that's-
brand, though.
Yeah.
Also,
So
the mics went out, so we're just doing the recording that way.
Oh, we're recording it. Okay.
Yeah, wait, you continue. I'm just gonna charge these.
That's fine. So yeah, anyway, Puxatawny Phil in this town, so he goes and then gets trapped in this like time warp where he's just constantly reliving the same day, which is Groundhog Day, hence the movie, over and over. So, but you came up with this. You looked at it from.
Well, so I asked ChatGPT because that's been my fixation for the past 6 months. And I asked it, I'm like, how many? I was curious. I was just like, how many times did he repeat that same day? Because it doesn't really give you a number in the movie, but
yeah, they just go through like a montage and you see him reliving it, but you never find out.
And he goes through like the 7 stages of what's it called? It's like grief, bargaining, like that kind of stuff. He goes through like those moments, like kind of just accepting it and then like actually making use of that repeated time. And
you said you found on ChatGPT how like what that equates out to, how many days he was stuck in this time loop.
Yeah, it was it's so weird to think about that it was that long, but it also makes a bit of sense like when there was a part with like him towards the end like just doing all these different things for people, and that takes some time, especially like learning the piano and just like mastering like a bunch of different other skills. That would take that would take at least like a couple years to like master it. And when you think back to it, it makes sense. Let me see if I can find it. I had the thing for it somewhere. I use not Groundhog Day. Well, I use ChatGPT a lot. Let me actually see how many times does Phil relive the same day in Groundhog Day.
Yes. Like what it equals out to.
I want to give you the exact, or not exact, but an estimate of how long it would be. So, according to ChatGPT, it's never explicitly stated how many times, but they said the director actually did say. So Harold Ramis, rest in peace, from Ghostbusters, who was also friends with Bill Murray. Once estimated that Phil was stuck in the time loop for about 10 years. But he also, I guess, later in an interview said that it could have been closer to 30 to 40 years to account for the time it would take to master skills. Like I said, piano, ice sculpting. The ice sculpting thing, that's crazy. Learning everything about the townspeople and also learning everything that happens at each time, every minute of the day. You would have to know it. But also, like, I would just go fucking insane from that.
Wait, oh my God. So they think Phil was stuck. It could be 10 years.
Yeah.
It could be. That's minimum. But the director's like, well, because technically you see him master all these skills, like 30 to 40. That's like a lifetime.
That is a lifetime.
Can you imagine going through one of your average days
over and over again.
I mean, I guess maybe that's also like
real life.
No, this is gonna sound awful. Maybe the director was also making like kind of like a satirical point about our everyday lives. It's like most of us do go through the same routine
day in, day out,
for a few decades, and that's insane to think about.
It's crazy because you're like, oh, I would go insane if I had to do that all the time. But it's just like, but a lot of people do. And that's usually like, I would say, what is it? It'd be most of your week is usually just that. It's the same thing every day.
Think about it, you have like 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
And like 5 days for the average. I can't be counted because
wait, let me do the math. So, we have to 5 days for each week, and there's 52 weeks
in a year.
So, there's like 365 days in a year. This would be 260 out of the 365 days.
Oh my god,
which is insane.
My mind.
But ChatGPT also added this part where it says some fans theorize that it suggests that it's over 12,000 days, which is about 34 years. Which I guess based off Phil's character development and like the skill acquisition and all that stuff. And then it's definitely, I guess he's gone through it at least like 1,000 times.
Yeah, and there's 365 days in a year. So yeah, that's like...
I guess that makes sense because, so when I watched it with Alan last night, and I forgot how good a movie is, but also how sad some of the parts are. And also, because we know plenty of people who have like this cynical mindset of just being like always a pessimistic view of the world and not really like changing how their thinking is.
Right.
And it's sad because it's like you want to be able to tell that person, and it's like, I mean, we all have our days. I literally I've had plenty of those recently, so I'm just like, it can be hard to see the positives. Yeah. And it seems like, oh God, it's never going to get better. And it's just like, nope. And you see like people that are just stuck like that because that's all they've known for so long, or that's all that they've practiced for so long. And it's just a habit at this point, or just like, trying to think what the word for it. It's just voluntary.
It's ingrained.
It's ingrained.
It's almost, it's subconscious
like,
that you do these things.
You can't unravel that much, which makes sense why Phil went through that loop for so long, like for years, decades.
It was like the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah, like, and so like you're bargaining, you end up trying to accept it. He literally tries to, I probably can't say the actual thing, but unalive himself in multiple scenarios. And
but then when he learns that there's no way, but that's when he like succumbs to it, and he's like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah, he's like, he tries a different approach. The crazy one was when he tried to literally romance Rita, but the wrong way, where it's just learning all these facts and just being like, just try, like almost like when you're playing a video game and you're just trying to get to the end of it.
Yeah.
But you're going about it, it's like you're just trying to play it like a game, and you're not actually trying to understand the person or enjoy the moments that you spend with them. But he eventually does that. The crazy thing was, the biggest thing, which I think we've experienced a lot of, which is death in life, like with family and losing people we love, and just, or knowing people that have lost other people. The part with him and the old man, him trying to constantly like do something to bring him back, and the fact that he had to face reality and accept the fact that other people could die, and it's like, and had to accept like there's nothing you can do, sometimes it just happens.
Wait, I forget this scene.
You forget? Oh, it's a homeless man, the one that was asking for change each time.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, oh, like come with me, and he feeds him food, he tries to do something good for him each time, and it's not, the focus isn't about like trying to stop that, like, like if you could go back in time and change stuff, it wouldn't really, you have to accept it's like it wouldn't really change things. If anything, it would delay things from it would just happen, but it would happen later, and not really much later. Like I always think about that, especially for like relatives we've had that have passed, and thinking like, oh, what could have we done differently? But it's like, would it have happened anyway?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you're like you can't change it.
Have delayed.
It's not like you just go back and be like, oh, everything's happy again. Like, because I've
completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
that little side.
Well, it's like I got so emotional with that, I started crying, and I was just like, oh my god, it's like the old man, and it's just and the worst part is, I think the part that got me was the fact that he was like calling him like pops, like father, like stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Right.
It's almost like you're trying to just bring this person back, but there's no bringing them back. Right. And it's just like the best you can do is give somebody like just genuine kindness and making those moments count before they go. So it's like that was a huge thing. So that, oh god, that part's just such a tearjerker. Also the fact when he like drives off a cliff, which it's kind of funny the way it is up till then with the groundhog, and he has him on the steering wheel. He's like, oh, it's just like give them a actual chase, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's just like you see like in his face like how much it has like weighed on him because he's been in this loop for a while, and this is in the beginning. Like, I don't know, this is in the first 10 decades maybe, which hopefully that wasn't the case, but not first 10 decades. I can't do math.
I was like,
it was the first.
This
Sorry,
guy did not live.
it was just
multiple hundreds of years.
I mean, he's like, he just learned the first 10 decades. No.
But in like the first 10 years.
Yeah, I can't math. Sorry about that. But yeah, so he's just, you see it on his face, like it wears him down. He becomes very cynical, like even more cynical than how he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
And this isn't even worth it. This is a curse for me. And there's a good point actually that's pointed out when he finally like gives in. He's like, I need to tell somebody about this, and tells Rita. And she poses it to her like, what would you do if you had
the
same day over and over again, or like so much time on your hands? And they'd be like, I wouldn't see that as a curse because you get so many different ways to like go about your day and so many things to learn, and it's just you that knows this. So it's just like, it's kind of
I remember when he brings that scene. I do remember because they're talking and he's like, well, what would you do? And she's like, is it really a curse? Like, think about it. You get to go back and
try again, and you can do
try again or do something different.
Because could you imagine you just keep getting redos and you can do whatever you want? Like, you could literally go back and like try something different each time. Just it's kind of funny because it's just like there's so many chances in life where you're like, oh, I wish I could go back and say this instead or redo this instead.
Well, and like you said, like chance. He like learned all these skills because I mean, think about it. You would have 24 hours to hone in on one skill and get it really down pat.
Yeah. Especially the piano thing, which that would be amazing to just learn an instrument, be able to go through that time, and then finally like you master it, and then also being able to, when he finally wakes up the next day and it's actually the next day. Can you imagine, like, you just gained all those skills from all that time, and you can go forward now in life with like that confidence?
So this whole time warp thing, it's like it is actually a pretty consistent theme in other movies. So Groundhog Day isn't the only one that does it. There's actually, hold on.
Wait, see if you can look it up.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, I would say there's
another movie that I found on Hulu. That was probably one of the first movies I watched on Hulu, and I love it. It has
who's in it?
It has from your favorite show.
You're gonna have to specify which favorite. Wait, what's it about? What's the show about?
Wait, hold on, this thing. Oh, Hulu kicked me out.
No.
Let me go here.
Oh wait, is it a character from Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the guy that plays Jake Peralta. Why do I always forget his name?
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg, yeah. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. It's like something in a resort, and the time loop keeps happening, but it's within that resort. Oh, you guys know what this one is?
Palm Springs.
Yes,
that was in 2020, and it was the first movie I watched on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And that one is also a time warp where he's stuck in the same day.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's such a good one. I highly recommend it.
Wait, so tell me just a brief synopsis of it.
So it follows two main characters. Andy Samberg's character, obviously.
Yes.
And then who's the other actress in it? Hold on.
I think I know which actress it might be. She was in the Penguin series, I think.
Christine Milioti.
Yep, she's in the Penguin show, which is actually good.
So her character is the maid of honor, and she's like this royal fuck up in her family, right? Like, I think she recently lost her job or something like that. It's like, or something's happened where the family is like, she's like essentially depressed. But it's her little sister's big wedding day, and she's like the maid of honor. And
I feel like this just adds a gut punch because for most scenarios,
right,
you would think it'd be the older sister.
And Sandberg is dating, I think, one of the bridesmaids or something. So he's just invited to.
He's just the guest. He's the plus one,
right? But he ends up in the time loop, and
so like they're both in it together.
Well, no, not originally.
Oh,
originally it's just him in the time loop.
Damn.
And then we pan to Kristen Milioti's character.
Oh, so it's like kind of just like one perspective and the other.
Like, okay, what the hell's going on? So they start like hooking up this wedding, and then she gets sucked into the time loop, and so now they're both in the time loop together, and they're reliving the same day together, and it's insane because they're essentially like duking out a lot of the same themes that Bill Murray's character does in Groundhog Day. Like, he's like, well, why are you so depressed? Like, why can't you move past, like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, why don't you ever try? Why don't you ever take anything seriously in your life? Are you, like, scared to take something seriously in your life?
Like, challenges in both of, like, why have you been in this rut for so long?
Right.
And, like, what's the deterrent that's not letting you
not just in the time loop, but, like, in your life in general. So it's pretty interesting. And there's...
Oh, I'm watching that tonight,
and there's... Oh, my God, you have
And then we have to talk about the next episode.
No, and there's a third person in the time loop.
Oh, my God!
J.K. Simmons' character gets sucked into the... So... Andy Samberg's character, like, I think it's
Yeah.
around the third or fourth loop when they're in the
Yeah.
same day together, and this guy comes back to try to kill him, and she's like, "Why is he trying to kill you?" He's like, "So interesting fun
Oh,
fact, about a
God.
few, like, loops ago before I sucked you into this, I sucked him into
Oh.
this. He realized that and now is trying to kill me."
Oh, because he thinks that will stop the loop.
No. Not because he thinks it'll stop the loop, just because he's purely angry at this dude. So you'll
That's
have to
kind of
watch this
messed up,
movie.
though.
Oh no, it's a good watch. I highly recommend Palm Springs to anybody.
Well, that'll be good.
So.
I'm gonna watch that tonight and then just give you the.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
But
it. You should watch that again. I was gonna say so we can talk about that in the next episode.
It's an interesting comparison.
Man,
And Groundhog Day.
that's so crazy though, because I'm just like that does kind of bring the same themes, but it does it also in another way. But it also is about the growth, like the mindset change, especially with just
Right.
changing how you view things. And I did that with cognitive behavioral therapy a few years back, and I still kind of do it now, trying to do more of it. So
Yeah.
and it helps you view situations differently and like progress more as a person. And I really like that. It's a good lesson to learn because it's all about perspective. So
Yeah.
it's just like
So it's like, what would you do if you
Yeah.
literally had the same day?
because I'm just like you
So
wouldn't live it
realize.
the same way
Way
again.
each
It's like
time.
so
No, you wouldn't.
wouldn't you change how it is, especially if you wanted to get out of that loop, like get out of that same old, same schedule, same routine. Like you wouldn't just keep going with it because you'd realize how kind
Right.
of like just
But-
draining and like downright bad it is because you're just like I'm just doing the same thing day in day out. And it's just driving you insane, and there's nothing
But
you can
again,
do.
it's
Yeah.
like it's a really, like, I think a really interesting way of depicting in cinema like how
Yeah.
most people live their lives.
That's
What is it?
it's
What
so
is the,
scary
what's
to
the saying?
think.
It's like art mimics life or something. It's like
Oh yeah, art does mimic life. Yeah, art mimics life
that's the
and stuff
quote
like
or
that.
something. It's like art mimics life. So it's
Yeah.
like, how many people are out there just Monday through Friday doing the same old, never really breaking out of their shell
No.
and reliving their own version of like Groundhog Day or Palm Springs and never really seeing the pattern of their ways and deciding that, like they're in this negative frame of mind. Like, I can't do anything to change anything, but you can.
Well, yeah,
Because-
I had that for like the past with like I would say even like it will come up here and there, like it's happened like the past few months before, especially when work got really busy and
Mhm.
it started to kind of take a toll on me mentally with like burnout and just draining. And
everybody's
it
been
would
there.
just be like, just bring you to a low and you just kind of you go to work, you go home, you eat, you sleep, you repeat it the next day. And I wasn't doing the things that I like usually love to do.
Mhm.
I was like, I need to make a change with it. So just especially with like sometimes my schedule changes. So, but it ends up just being the same routine, like overall. So
Yeah,
it's just
but
like,
it's like,
oh, when
it's
am I
not
going to fit in
about-
those changes? And I finally like started fitting in those changes as small as it was. But like making the
that's
time
how they
for
have
it.
to be. They have to be small, but you can do them. Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I wanted to do the
Because-
podcast more, putting in the effort to this with this fantastic episode with you. So this is really good. And just like putting in more because I want to grow this to be, a bigger thing and like, not like it doesn't have to gain an extreme popularity. It's even just for fun.
No, but just
so,
to have it regularly.
Yeah, and that's like this has been a passion since I started it, and I feel like I just want to put more work into it, like a plant, like just watering a plant each day or however long you need to water a plant. Even though I'm horrible with plants, so
Actually, fun fact, that is what I'm trying to do this year.
oh yeah, Veronica wants to grow a
I
garden
have
in her
my-
house
well, yes, that's like the
or an
ultimate goal.
ecotarium,
But like, yeah, like I want to grow a garden.
an ecosystem. If you
And I've not ever been a green thumb in my past, so now I'm like starting with something small, right? Like I have
Yeah.
2 plants, and not killing them is my goal right now.
well, you're doing better than I am because I'm pretty sure the money tree plant I have is pretty much dying on its own now.
No, and
Yeah.
that other thing's dying.
It's hanging in there.
Whatever, we'll take
It's
a look
hanging.
at it,
I
see if
know.
we can revive it.
The picture. But yeah, it's all about that change, and it's like there's so many people that stay the same way for the rest of their lives, and you don't want to be like that, because especially with how it takes a toll on you, and you feel like oh my god, I didn't do like just the I wish I could have done that. It's like then why don't you do it?
Right.
And it's always just that stuff where you think you can't change your ways, but it's never too late to change, but you have to be willing to put in the work for it.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's we'll segue into a fun story which is my key fob story. Oh yeah. So we'll be wrapping up my key fob story, which was I've had my new car for about 6 months now, and I just realized like a week ago that I have a self starter on it. And when I tried it out, I looked it up online. I was looking up something because I was like, oh, I should get a self starter for my car. And then I was looking at it, but then I saw, oh, there's like a little kind of arrow thing on the key fob. So I looked it up online and I tested like to hold the lock down. at the car and then do the key fob, and then it finally started. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this actually worked? So it was like the biggest facepalm where I'm like, oh my god, how did I not notice? Like, you know, when you have your glasses on your head and you're like, where are my glasses? Or where's my phone? You're literally looking at your phone. But this has been through 6 months, and I'm like, come on, how did I not realize it until now?
Is thank God you realized it halfway through the winter.
Well, yeah, worst timing ever. I mean, have you ever like discovered like a feature in something you've owned forever that you never realized?
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating, but you know, we're gonna wrap it up there. Actually, I did want to wrap it up with one last thing, which is the shopping cart theory, because I've seen this come up, especially on YouTube.
You can pose that too. So
yeah,
the shopping cart theory is: are you a person that when you're done grocery shopping, or wherever you're shopping, do you return the cart or do you leave it where you parked?
Yeah, it says a lot about your moral character. Like, if you do,
are you doing the right thing when?
Yeah, like self-governing and like being. It's like, oh yeah, it's like just following that. You know, it's like you know, just I'm trying to think how to describe it. I'm like lost for words, but like even in bad weather, like if it's icy out, if it's cold out, like do you still make that extra walk or even just a few steps, like to go and put it away in the shopping cart like area, or do you just leave it on like or do you leave it on the island? Do you abandon it on the island? Or sorry, or are you that asshole that lets it hit another car, rolls down the parking lot, and slams into a door, and then some poor unsuspecting person comes back and they're like, "Why is there a huge dent in my car?" Don't be that person. We know what kind of person you are based off that. You should already know.
Yes. So that is the question. Are you the person who returns the cart or do you leave it where it is?
Yeah. So it's like it's like you take the extra moment to get it out of you take a few minutes out of your day and put the shopping cart back. And sometimes you'll get lucky and people will be collecting the carts from the store and they'll ask, "Hey, do you want to give me your cart and I'll take it off your hands?" It pays to be nice because being nice doesn't cost anything. And you know, I feel like you get a more sense of, I'm trying to think what the word is. I feel like you get a better sense of yourself and like you're improving as a person when you do small things like that.
Yeah.
And it's good change. So just do them. So we'll wrap up. And I'll add in the Instagram post to follow about our review of the Cake Shop Cafe in Middlebury.
Yeah.
Which we'll review next time too, because we're also going to be visiting a new coffee shop. But I hope you all enjoyed it today and have a wonderful rest of your day, and stay tuned for more episodes and for episode 12 in the next upcoming weeks. Bye, guys.
Bye.